What is going on, YouTube family? Week 1 has come and gone. We are in week 2. By now, you should have cleaned up your foods. By now, you should be down maybe a pound or 2, feeling good, feeling a little lighter, a little less bloat. If not, go back to week 1 and start it over again. Do it the right way. If so, let's get into week 2. So there's going to be 3 easy steps in week 2. Step number 1 is going to be starting to track our foods. Now last week we were just cleaning our foods up, trying to get better at that, not really paying attention to where we are or what kind of caloric intake we're taking in. This week we want to know what we take in on a daily basis. And it's okay if that number is all over the place. We'll situate that in week 3. But for right now, for week 2, we want to get into a nutrition tracking app. So I personally use MyFitnessPal, but there are plenty of other ones out there that you can use. And you just write in every single thing that you eat. It's that simple. What this is going to do is, instead of guessing what your caloric range should be, which there's plenty of formulas out there and all that stuff, and I'll actually have it down in the description if you want to use a formula for cutting as opposed to bulking and all of that. But what I like to do is track for the first week, especially if you're new to this. You don't know what your maintenance calories are, so then you don't know where to go from there, right? So take your weight first thing in the morning on, say, a Sunday or Monday or a Saturday, whenever you're gonna start this thing. Track your food for the week, take your weight at the end of the week, right? So at least 5 days you wanna do this. That's gonna set you up. So what I want you to do there is add in those calories, or add up those calories, I should say, divide by however many days you tracked, and try to be very consistent with your tracking. And that's gonna be about what your calorie range should be. Now, if that number on the scale has went up over those last couple of days, we wanna subtract maybe 200 to 300 calories from that average number that you just created. If that number on the scale has went down a little bit, then maybe we want to keep that average as our daily totals, and that's our new goal. Step number 2 this week is going to be to clean up our diet even that much more. So this week I want you to stick to all 1 or 2 ingredient foods. What does that mean? That's your chicken, your beef, your eggs, your potatoes, your rice, all the healthy things that we associate with dieting. However, we're not going to limit them, so to speak. So we're not putting exact numbers on any of this stuff yet. That's why we're tracking this week. So we're still using week 2 as sort of a cleanup thing, but we want to dive even deeper. So we want to get rid of the pizzas. Even to some extent, we want to kind of get rid of the fast foods, the Chick-fil-A's, the Chipotle's, that type of stuff, where we can. And we want to start cooking our own stuff. Because if you can control the food at the very start, you can control what goes in, then you have total control over the results that you're gonna get. That's where meal prepping, that's where all that stuff becomes super important. Can you still do it doing Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, those types of places? Of course you can. But we definitely wanna get rid of the pizza this week, and we wanna concentrate on 1 or 2 ingredient foods, right? So even if you had eggs, bacon, sausage, things like that, like even if you had all those in one meal, those are still 1 or 2 ingredient foods by themselves, right? Even like if you have potato with cheese on it or something like that, cheese is cheese, potato is potato. Just because you put them together, they're still one ingredient foods. The last step, number 3, what we're gonna do this week is we're going to start walking. Just a simple walk. So every day we want to walk 20 minutes a day. I don't care if you do it in the morning. I don't care if you do it in the evening. There's no timing to this. It's just literally a 20-minute walk. Not a run, not a jog, just walking, right? And you can even break it up. If you do one 10-minute walk, another 10-minute walk. Try to walk for at least 10 minutes. But if you do, walk out your door after a meal, before a meal, whatever. Just when you have some time, You set your alarm on your phone, or you set a stopwatch on your phone, on your watch, whatever. Walk one way for 5 minutes, walk back. Walk one way for 10 minutes, walk back. There you go, you're done for the day. What this is gonna help us do is just get moving. Most of us are so sedentary that is one of the big reasons why we gain so much weight, why we have such a hard time losing. So we're gonna start creating a deficit on the exercise side. Now, I don't want you to change anything you're doing in the gym if you're going there. If you're not going to the gym and you want to include that this week as well, go for it. That's only gonna help. We're gonna get there anyway, so why not jump into it? But add the walks every single day on top of it. That's gonna help you, that's gonna help with our blood flow. That's gonna help us recover a little bit more. And that's gonna help us create a deficit on the exercise side for as we're trying to find our calories and our numbers for the week. So step 1 is literally going to be tracking our foods, paying attention to what we're putting in, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's half a Snickers bar, which you shouldn't be eating this week, but things happen. That's okay. Give yourself a break. Understand you're not gonna be perfect. This game is 100% mental. That's what dieting is. That's what gets people so off the rails. They're so hard on themselves. You're not gonna go from eating like crap to the next week just eating super clean and expect it to stick. Sugar is somewhat of a drug. It has an effect on your brain chemistry. And going cold turkey like that is hard. It's difficult. It takes a super high level mindset that most of us don't have. That's okay. But if you have a donut, if you have half a Snickers bar, if you have a couple slices of pizza, track it. That's step number 1. So we get an accurate reading, because these are the numbers that are going to go into week 3 with to start really locking in our weight loss. Number 2, we are going to clean up 1 and 2 ingredient foods for our entire food set. So that should make tracking a little bit easier, going back to step 1 as well. But I don't expect it to be perfect like we're talking about. That's okay. And then number 3, we're going to add 20 minutes of walking every single day. Not jogging, not running. This isn't HIIT work. This isn't any sort of thing like that. Literally walking from place to place. You can do it on treadmill, you can do it outside, preferably outside where you're pushing yourself, or even on an elliptical is okay too. Just get that 20 minutes in. This is gonna set a solid foundation for the next coming weeks and for a solid, consistent weight loss week to week. On a little side note, if you haven't taken your before pictures, take them. Pictures are crucial. I want you taking them at least once a week around the same times. Preferably when you wake up, weigh yourself on a Sunday, Saturday, Friday, whatever. Weigh yourself, take your pictures. That's it. Next week, do the same thing. Those numbers, those pictures are gonna be what helps you. There may come a time during this process where you stay the same weight for a week or maybe even 2 weeks. And you start getting in your head like this isn't working. But when you look at your pictures, you'll realize how far you've come. Even if the weight's the same, maybe you put on a little muscle. Or maybe you're just not drinking as much water. Or, there's so many different variations to why our weight is what it's on the scale, but our pictures never lie to us. And we know if our pictures are looking a little bit worse or the same, that we need to cut down somewhere, and I'll go over that in the next video. So hit that like button. If you haven't already, don't know why, subscribe to the channel, get with us, get these updates every single week, and I'll catch you in the next one.